What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Med Update. My name is Josh Drishy Howard, and I've got good news and bad news. The good news is I am feeling well enough to record this video after being waylaid and absolutely clobbered by COVID, so hopefully I continue to improve. The bad news is this. We've had a 36% win rate this last weekend. It was pretty bad. Um, there were several large events, but I think one of the other big things that we're continuing to face is that guard is like it's hard to say that it's not kind of like facing abandonment in general. There are not that many top players who are still playing the faction, especially in a singles environment. We're still seeing it show up in teams a little bit, but this was a pretty large weekend, and if I didn't include WTC, I would only have one list to show you guys. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. This is data taken from the entire patch. Overall, we have a 41.3% win rate, which is not great. We've got some detachments that are doing fairly decent. Hammer is a reasonable sample size at like 46%. Mechanized, pretty small sample size is above 50. And then I think one of the big things here is we have to have a pretty realistic understanding of like what we're good at. And I think we are definitely an army that is best at recon or priority assets, but we're not the best recon army in the game. We're not the best priority assets army in the game. We can just do both of them okay. I would encourage people to play these ones right now if you're trying to take this in a singles environment. If you can splash designation force into a variety of things, and then priority assets, you can splash bridgehead into a variety of things in order to find those. There are still ways to play purge reasonably effectively, especially if you're willing to play like steel hammer. But as I said before, there's low agency armies. They're just relatively low agency. You don't have a ton of control over what's going on, so you gotta make sure you get the right matchups at the right time, and then hope that you're better than your opponent, and sometimes hope that you're luckier than your opponent. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. I have one singles list to show you guys today. This is the first list to show you guys that was not losing the first couple of rounds. Instead, it was a loss in the fourth round. This is Tyler Logan going 4-1 at Onslaught X Layton down in Florida, I believe. He was playing combined arms plus designation force, and I saw someone in the comments mention that they were struggling to figure out what disposition people were playing. So I'm going to go ahead and try and add those into the subtitles here. It was the colors before, and if you're also confused as to what the colors are for like the stuff in the bottom right, of course the colors there are the disposition they're playing. Tyler is playing a Scion Command Squad with 10 Scions with Melta-Guns. Yarick with a Cadian Command Squad and 20 Cadians. Another Scion Command Squad with 10 Scions with Melta-Guns. Gonskos, an Ogun Bodyguard that can go with anything, but probably is usually going to be going with Yarick. 1 unit 6 Bulgrim, 2 units of 5 Death Riders, 3 units of 5 Krieg Engineers, 2 Leman Russ Battle Tanks, and 3 Scout Sentinels. So this is a bit of an interesting thing, of course. You do have the fact that it's combined arms. The Leman Russ Battle Tanks stocks are up. It becomes really good, of course, when you have access to the rerolls, plus the lethal hits. And then, of course, the Scout Sentinels are very, very good in conjunction with the Scions in order to get them to more than 100% hit rate effectively. You still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 60-ish point units between the Death Riders, the Krieg Engineers, and the Scout Sentinels in order to go push buttons. And then, of course, you have Gonskos as well. One of the things that I was talking to Tyler a little bit about earlier today was how he was using Yark with the Cadian Command Squad, the Cadians, and the Bulgren. He was saying that they were more or less running right next to each other. Let me just double check the stratagem in Designation Force. I think it's all infantry. It's always been all the infantry that I've been running in my list, but I don't know if it works on Bulgren. It feels like it's supposed to. Stratagems. Not that one. Unengaged Astromilitarium Infantry. So yeah, you can go ahead and reactive move with the Bulgren D3+3. And it does mean that you have a lot of different ways in order to kind of shift them around and go for some cute heroic interventions with this unit. And then you can use that to protect Yarick and the unit, because if Yarick and friends does get like consolidated into, the unit kind of stops doing damage. There's a lot less damage than if you had like a Castellan in the unit, so it is a bit of a different take there. Other big thing here is there's not a way, I don't believe, I don't think there's any way to order the Bulgren in this, so they are just Bulgren hitting on threes. They're all right. Combined arms plus designation force. I think combined arms is more interesting than the stats. I think the stats are showing it's pretty bad. Stats are saying pretty bad there. And then it's the bottom column. Yeah, it's like not super exciting, but there are definitely still ways to play it. Tyler here ends up beating Iron Hands, White Scars, Votan, losing to Jack Harpster's World Eaters in round 4 before beating Votan for 4-1, getting 7th overall, I believe. So well done to Tyler, being the only 4-1 singles player this weekend. In order to flesh out the video, get that sweet ad revenue, and give you guys a little bit more, here's some updates on the 3 top guard players at WTC. There were a couple others that I could maybe include, but again, I'm feeling sick. You will have to forgive me on trying to keep this relatively short. We had John Winter Russell, the top performing guard player, playing with Team Canada, playing Mechanized Assault, Bridget Strike, and Priority Assets. He had Yarrick with a Silence Command Squad and 10 Signs with Volley Guns, Graves on foot with a Silent Command Squad, Bombast Fox, and 10 Signs with Melt-A-Guns, Silent Command Squad with 5 Silence and Melt-A-Guns, Gaunt's Ghost, Nork Deadog, Ogre Bodyguard, and an Engine Seer. So the Nork Deadog and Ogre Bodyguard, they cannot. I mean, they basically are going to be swapping back between Yarrick and Graves. I don't know what the real difference is between these, to be entirely honest, as to which one you would want to put them with. I guess you maybe put them with Yark, because I think he hits a little bit harder and allows the Silence to punch their way out a little bit better. The difference is probably pretty small. You have 10 Krieg just running around. Chimera. So you have a couple of options here if you want to put the Krieg Flamers or the Engineers or the Scions in the Chimera. There's a lot of options there to move that around. An single Armored Sentinel and a Stormlord. I've heard War Games Live talking about this as the puzzle block, so I will be trying to get a video with John out in the next week or so. He is, as far as I'm aware, currently traveling back home from the WTC, so we will have more information on this coming up. Is a unit of 5 Krieg Engineers, Krieg Flamers, and 1 unit of Quillons. So, of course, remember that Bridget Strike does give you the +1 to hit if you hop out of a Stormlord. So there are plenty of ways to make sure you order things over and over. There are some cool tricks that you can do with the Stormlord because it does have like that vacuum ability. And then I don't know what the transport capacity is off the top of my head. I think it's 24, but it might be more than that. So, just double check on that. There are some cool things that you can do with like Yarrick where you can like Overwatch and then use the Yarrick ability and then use the Stormlord to suck stuff up. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can do. Anyway, John ended up playing against everything that wasn't priority assets, interestingly enough. Is there any particular things? He was beating up Emperor's Children pretty good. I would need to know more about that. I guess the Defilers are not consistent at killing the Stormlord. And then the Stormlord is actually pretty good at like killing Emperor's Children infantry. And then you can probably actually kill the Defilers with like the Sonnenbrick, especially with like the Graves on Foot version. So pretty interesting stuff there. Beating Tyranids, Knights, Eldar, losing to, I think this was Australia's Custodes player, like Nathan Princey, I believe, and beating Emperor's Children twice, and beating Tyranids in the last round. So well done to John Victor Russell overall and being the top guard player at a very competitive event. Moving on, we have Wesley St. Hines playing for the United States, playing Siege Regiment plus Bridgehead Strike in Disruption. So a couple interesting things here. Of course, I think that the Recon versus Disruption matchup is really, really heavily tilted towards the Recon player. So I'm a little bit surprised to see that. Wait, no, hold on. I was looking at the wrong thing. There was only one, and the only one that he played against was Olivier. I heard it was Weiss, but it might be Weiss. I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce his name, but the captain of Team France, 218 there. That is a matchup that does not sound very good for Disruption player, but otherwise doing quite well overall. Wesley was running a 10 Scions with a command squad and volley guns, a Castellan with a command squad and 20 Cadians, another Castellan with a command squad and 20 Cadians, another Scion command squad with volley guns and 10 Scions. Gaunt's Ghost, 2 Ogre bodyguards going with Castellans, Ursula Creed running around by herself, 2 units of Cadian Recon, 3 Catachan Las Cannons, 3 Krieg Las Cannons, unit of 5 Krieg Engineers, a unit of Aquilons, and a Scout Sentinel. So there are like 4 like hammers here, and then you have all of the Las Cannons, which can run around depending on the mission. They can either be something that is going to be going forward and just kind of standing in the way, like if you're playing up against something like Orcs, and then if you are playing up against something like Knights, they can hang back a little bit and let the cadence eat the brunt first. One of the big things to note about this is I don't know if I want to say that. I will wait to see. I have a little bit of extra information, of course, because I get to see a lot of the discussions happening in the what do you call it, Team USA Discord. So I will wait to see. I know he is also traveling on his way back. I should be having a video coming out with Wesley sometime the next week or so. So be on the lookout for that. Um, yeah, I think Wesley dropped more diff in this event than like the rest of his 40K team's career. So just speaks to the level of people that he's playing against. I do know. So let me hold on. I'm going to make sure that this is something he said in public, so I don't. From okay. So he said 11:41 this morning. Or I guess yesterday. By the time a lot of you see this, looking, I'm going to be real. I don't even know if I want to play guard anymore. I was fighting for those points every round. When asked, don't get me wrong, I love playing guard. I just noticeably felt the nerves to agree where I'm starting to question if I'd rather just play one of my other armies until Games Workshop recognizes the bad internal balance. So, yeah, there's a lot of frustration about this in general. I'm frustrated about it. Other good players are frustrated about it. We will see what happens. Like I said, I had a conversation with David Purcell before WTC, and basically I went through all the players at WTC and looked at who are normally the guard players for this country, how many of them are on guard, and there was maybe a third of people who I know of as primarily guard players throughout most of 10th edition were just not playing guard for WTC. So that's a little bit sad. Anyway, well done to Wesley. Team USA did win WC this last weekend, and there will be more information from that. Yeah, the Joshi and Nemo channel. All right, our last one, we have Jacob Skark Witrowski, going 4-2-1 with Poland, playing Mechanized Assault with Bridgehead Strike and Reconnaissance. If anybody knows Skark, if Skark is interested, I would love to have him on the channel. However, I don't know how to contact him directly. So if that's something he's interested in, let me know, and I will try to find a way to reach out to him. I'm sure I can, get something through the grapevine. Anyway, Skark was playing a Yark with Silent Command Squad, 5 signs with a volley gun, Primaris Psyker, Silent Command Squad, 5 signs with volley gun, a Silent Command Squad with 5 signs and volley guns, Solo Commissar, Solo Guns Ghost, 1 Centaur, 3 Chimeras, 1 Torox, and another Torox Prime, 2 Kazarkin, 2 Krieg Engineers, 1 Krieg Flamers, 2 Ninja 3 Ogren, a Basilisk, and 2 Scout Sentinels. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 drops, which is a lot of stuff in general, and it does make it relatively good to play reconnaissance stuff. Um, Overall, one of the big things that is interesting here is the number of transports, which does increase the what do you call it unit count quite a bit. But the other really big pieces that are surprising to me are one, the Primaris Psyker. I've seen this pop up every now and then. I've always thought it was okay, but it's just been very expensive historically, and I think it's just kind of like an all-time high for expense. But when you already have 21 unit count, I don't know how important it is to get that 22nd unit count. So having this running around in the Torox Prime, this unit will just kill. I don't know the math on if it'll just kill a knight on an objective, but it'll get close. It'll also get close at just killing a Dorn on an objective with the full hit rerolls, full wound rerolls, and then the dev wounds on there. You're just gonna do a lot of damage to anything you want in the game. Basilisk is also an interesting piece right now because there are a lot of relatively fast melee pressure armies in the game, and just making them a little bit slow, making those Alaris Custodes move 3 inches with -2 to charge is pretty cool. Big thing here, he did get a couple of disruption games. I'm a little bit surprised that he got the 6 into the Custodes disruption because I do feel like this is an army that should be able to deal with that. However, of course, Custodes, you can always get scammed by the 4s. Um, yeah, other than that, he's done a pretty good job beating up on, vaguely marine shaped things. I don't remember what kind of demons this was. I'm going to guess that it was Legion of Excess. But overall, going 4 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. So good stuff here coming out from Skark as well. Again, if you know Skark, if you want to get him on the channel, let him know. I would love to have him on for an interview. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, I'm not well, but I am noticeably improved from where I was a couple of days ago. Hope you guys enjoy this. I will Sure. Uh, I have access to a golden ticket, and I really want to go to Barcelona. However, that is very expensive, so I'm going to be trying to reopen and focus on like doing a lot of coaching and stuff for you guys. I have a new thing I would like to open to the public in the near future, so keep an eye out for that. I will probably be announcing it on the Discord, so hit me up if you are on like Reddit or Discord. I haven't been anywhere near as active on Reddit recently, but um email, if you send me an email, I don't check it very often. So just just keep that one in mind. Discord and Reddit are definitely the best ways to get a hold of me right now. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys all later. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.